Yeah, so let's start with the second question, find pivot index. So in the question, it is mentioned, given an array of integer nums, calculate the pivot index of this array. The pivot index is the index where the sum of all the numbers strictly to the left of the index is equal to the sum of all the numbers strictly to indexes right. If the index is on left edge of the array, then the sum of left sum will be 0 here in for the one, like the first element, there is nothing on the left, so left sum will be 0 because there is no element on the left. This also applies to the right edge of the array. So for this element 6, there is nothing on the right, so right sum will be 0. Return the leftmost pivot index. If no such index exists, return -1. So it can be possible like we can have more than one pivot index in a particular array, and if we don't find any pivot index, then we need to return -1. So let's just take an let's just look on examples given. So here we have example 173656, and it is mentioned like 3 like index 3 is the pivot index. So how we can compute it? We have element 1, 7, 3. Please excuse my handwriting. 6, 5, 6. Okay. So I'll put the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I say you to compute the prefix sum for this. So how will you compute? For element 0, it will be same. For element 1, it will be 8. For element, uh, for index 2, it will be 8 plus 3, 11. For element this, it is 17. Then 5, 22. And then for this, we have 28. So this is normal prefix sum. But for this, we need to compute the left sum and right sum. So how we will compute left sum and right sum? So as it is mentioned, for the leftmost index, there is nothing on the left, so left sum will be 0 and right sum will be 7 plus 3, 10, 6, 16, 5, 11, 21, and then 6, 27. Right sum will be 27. Now, for this element, left we have 1 and right we have 3, 6, 9, 9, 5, 14, 14, 6, 20. So right sum will be 20. And for this we have on the right we have 8, and on the left, oh sorry, on the left we have 8, and on the right we have 6 plus 5, 11, 6, 17. So for this, we have on the left 7 plus 3, 10, 11, and right we have 6 plus 5, 11. And then for this, 6 plus 3, 9, then 10, 17 on the left side, and on the right side we have only 6. And for this we have 5, 6, 5 plus 6 is 11, 14, 15, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So on the left side we have 22, but on the right side there is no element, so it will be 0. So if you see all the left in sum and right sum, you can easily say this is the pivot, because here we have left sum as 11 and right sum as 11. Both are equal. So if we can anyways use prefix sum here, if we can find out any way to use prefix sum, because if we calculate for every index, we can calculate left sum and right sum. But in that case, we have to, like, it will be a very, it will not be an optimum solution. So to get the optimum solution, we should use the prefix sum here. So let's just see the pattern. So for the left sum, if anything, there is nothing on the left side, it will be 0. And then you can see a pattern, like for this 8, 11, it is coming like this. Everything is coming like we are just taking the prefix of, for the left, we are just taking p of I minus 1. So it was easy to guess as we can find out the pattern itself. But for the right, and it only applies if I is not equals to 0. If I is not equals to 0, because for the I equals to 0, it will be 0 only. And for the right, how we can see for the right what it is there? Can you find out any pattern? Uh, I cannot find out any pattern, but we can also use the prefix here. So what we need to have, like for any element, we need to have all the elements to its right. We are just not taking the element itself. So if I write it is sum of all the elements from I plus 1 to n minus 1. Basically, we need to compute sum of all the elements from I plus 1 to n minus 1. So if we want to write this thing in a prefix sum notation, how we do it? We do it as sum of anything, like if I generalize this thing, sum of I to j. In a prefix sum notation, we write this thing as prefix of j minus prefix of I minus 1. So if we want to have that, if we considering this formula, so for the right it will be, so for the right it will be prefix of n minus 1 minus prefix of I plus 1 minus 1. So plus 1 minus 1 will cancel out, and it will be prefix of n minus 1 minus prefix of I. So for the right sum. I hope you are able to get this thing. this has been derived from this particular formula. So let's just go to the console and see how we can put it into code. So basically, what we need to do, we need to first can we okay, yeah, we need to first find create a prefix sum array that I'll write it as P, and we can use that later on. So for P0, we will initialize that nums 0, and for int I 1 to I less than n, I plus what we need to do? We need to get it prefix of I is equals to prefix of I minus 1 plus nums I. So this is how we create a prefix array, and then we will use this prefix array and we will compute our pivot index. We will see if the index is pivot or not. We'll compute our left and right and see if it is equal or not. So basically what we need to compute int left and right. Then if I equals to 0, so our left will be 0 only, else left will be prefix of I minus 1 as we saw in the explanation. And for the right, we do not need to put any condition as such, and we can have n minus 1 minus prefix of I. Okay, and after computing both the things, we need to check if left equals to right. Then what we need to return? We need to return index, that particular index. If we don't find any of the like any pivot index, then we need to return minus 1. Let's just check if it is working for us. Okay. So yeah, it's been accepted and we are able to pass all the test cases, given test cases, and now let's just submit this code. So yeah, so I hope this explanation helped you. I'll put the detailed explanation in the solution tab as well, so you can check out that thing. And I hope this video will help you in any ways. If you still have any queries, you can put it in comments and I'll try to solve all your queries. Thank you so much. Bye bye. And please subscribe to my channel.